Everyone, the Department of Defence is issuing a formal notice to the citizens of Ireland to be prepared and keep cash. Now, wait for it. We've seen the massive push for the digital euro over the last few years, and of course, this has been accelerated with Pascal Donoghue and Christine Lagarde pushing this agenda via the European Central Bank. But this is around the emergencies, and be prepared to have a stash of cash ready when those power outages happened, like what occurred in Spain and Portugal in April. And of course, due to storms, the war in Ukraine, and of course, many more emergencies, that we have to have some cash ready to get by over a few days in terms of paying for food. This is ludicrous, isn't it? We've seen the drive towards the digital euro, in particular by the European Union, of course, pushing their globalist agenda. And interestingly enough, this comes on the back of a report from the European Central Bank, who themselves are pushing the digital euro. And it's called Keep Calm and Carry Cash. If you have any, it's great, isn't it? But unfortunately, most people are struggling to get by day to day. But again, this is about keeping calm and carrying cash in case of emergencies, according to this European Central Bank report that came out in September of this year. Now, of course, many countries such as Portugal have seen an uptick in people accessing cash following the outages that took place back earlier this year. And many people have really seen, to an extent, the light of the failure of this digital system that they're trying to push forward. But wait for it. The technocrats and bureaucrats and lunatics in the European Union are still pushing forward this agenda, because over the last couple of days, Pascal Donoghue was at the Eurogroup meeting, the ECOFIN meeting, and also spoke with the European Free Trade Association, along with the European Central Bank, about pushing forward the Savings and Investments Union, the Banking Union, to loosen regulatory controls around the European Union. Spoke about competitiveness, which of course is code for attacking workers and funneling more money upwards in the names of productivity, and also around the digital payments and accelerating the euro. Now, Christine Lagarde has been involved in pushing on the acceleration of the euro, and the preparation phase has been complete. The European Central Bank are glad to report this is going on for the last 2 years, and they look to have legislation in place by 2026. Then they're looking to have a pilot project over the next 12 to 18 months, and looking for issuance of these digital euros by late 2028 or early 2029. Now, Christine Lagarde has been pushing this over the last few years and said that this is fantastic because it's shared money and it's a trusted sign of unity, much the same to what Donoghue was speaking to over the last few days in Brussels, in terms of the shared unity and their strength and resilience across the European Union, while they're dragging us towards more war and more of spending public money through the military industrial complex. But what's interesting with this is the cost of the digital euro is estimated to be 1.3 billion euro of public money up to 2028. And then afterwards, it will take about 320 to 330 million a year, the estimate at the moment, to continue the usage of the digital euro right across Europe. So of course, we won't be just captured by the digital euro, we'll be paying for it too through our digital ID and wallets that they intend to bring forward over the next few years. And of course, they'll say that this is against the interests of Visa and MasterCard and these big corporations making money out of it, and it's better for the system across Europe. And they'll say it's down to competitiveness because of what's happening across in the United States with the US Genius Act in relation to cryptocurrencies and the dollar-backed reserve currency, and to try and look at the euro as being the reserve currency of the world. Shows you really how deluded these people are, as we see a massive move around the world towards multipolarity, and we can see that through the de-dollarization to what's taking place currently. But of course, maybe we should tell the European Central Bank about this. But this will have major ramifications for our privacy, for our basic rights, basic freedom, and it's tied into a digital wallet, as I said. We all know about the immigration system that I've spoken about in quite a number of videos, about the EU Migration and Asylum Pact, which is looking forward to having this in place in terms of digital ID over the next year or so. And this be rolled out across the spectrum through everybody that comes across into Europe. Of course, it's for our safety, isn't it? Or so they proclaim. And really what's interesting with this As I said, this will have the central bank digital currency, expiry dates, and would be controlled by the issuing authority, which is European Central Bank. Perhaps can switch it off and switch it on at will themselves under the guise of maybe a cyber attack, or perhaps they maybe didn't like somebody because of something they said that was counter to the prevailing narrative. Isn't that interesting? So much for the values and democracy that Michael McGrath is standing up for. And this comes as well, you have a commissioner in the European Union for human rights, humanitarian aid, crisis preparedness, and crisis management. And in her first role, when she was appointed into that position, late 2024, she went on to meet the man who was on the most wanted list previously, Al-Jalani, who was now the Syrian president, who was recently in the White House. I wonder what she was going to meet him for. And then she went on as well to meet Erdogan in Turkey, and of course has been pushing this global peace and Ukraine freedom agenda through the European Union as well. And she said that we should be prepared for all these crises in terms of war and so forth. So issued by the Department of Defence is not interested in what's happening in Ireland, so we'll see this over the next period of time. And of course this is happening lockstep right across Europe, so it's actually not a brainwave by the Irish government or Simon Harris to come up with. Of course we know they work at the behest of the European masters, and much the same as their agenda is being driven by those who are bureaucrats in Brussels. So thanks so much for the supports in my videos, I really appreciate them. Please subscribe, please share my videos far and wide. So from Dublin today, it's Long Take care.